But a lot of this discussion added to our perspective, and it was very valuable. And we each benefited and learned from it because it was a civil discussion. Based on the personal attacks by Mr. Briggs against members of the council with whom he disagrees, both in these chambers and in public media, I'm concerned that Mr. Briggs will detract from rather than add to the Planning Commission's deliberations. And for this reason, I'm unable to support his confirmation. Thank you.
Okay. Other members, Rod?
Yeah, I don't happen to see this as the same as Councilman Russell, but for tonight, I'm going to vote along with him because I want all of this put out public and brought out at the next work session so that if we have issues, let's start talking about them on Monday night.
Molly?
And I would just like to concur with Rod, and I am willing to table this for the reason that I want to ensure that the conversation that goes on regarding this appointment is not just amongst a few council members, but amongst all council members. I do believe that sometimes energetic, passionate discourse and disagreement is essential to good democratic process, and the Planning Commission certainly is probably the place that you see a lot of that passionate discourse. And while I am in total favor of Mr. Briggs' appointment to this commission, I think it'd be a great opportunity all the way around. I would certainly like to consider Mr. Russell's or Councilman Russell's concerns and hear them. So
Thank you.
I'm willing to do that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just wanted to say that I also served on Planning Commission, and there are those discussions. For those who don't know, Planning Commission is in many senses a debating society. They make recommendations to the council. They do not make decisions. And like Councilmember Shoemaker, I very much enjoyed those discussions. One of the things that I enjoyed particularly about them was the level of passion and commitment that people brought to those discussions. That level may not be appropriate from behind this dais, but for the Planning Commission, as long as people aren't throwing punches or bricks, I think that's entirely appropriate. That's it.
Councilman Greenlee and Councilman Coaston, I think passionate discourse is appropriate behind this dais, but I do not believe personal attacks are, and that's what's at issue here. Thank you.
Any other comments by council? Rod?
Yeah, along with that, what I'm after is Monday night that we have this out in the open, and you explain everything that you're discussing tonight, and I want Mr. Briggs to be able to sit in the room and hear what it is that you have to say about him. So,
Yes, and I agree, I concur with that. Yeah, besides that, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from council? And just to be clear, we're not talking about next Monday, we're talking about the following Monday, the 29th would be our next workshop session. I would certainly hope, and I would ask Don from the Post-Record to certainly make every attempt to be at that meeting. I don't disagree with the desire of council to have a full vetting of this if you feel that there are things that need to be discussed. I believe, though, we've got a full council chambers, and I have a lot of reservations that you've probably just put an awful lot of questions into the minds of a whole lot of people that are here on whether someone is worthy, trustworthy, truthful, any of those types of things from the comments that I've heard. If it were me, I would just as soon, while these same folks are here that are hearing that they hear whatever it is that you have to say. And I doubt that a whole lot of them may be here on the 29th, but be that as it may, we have a motion and a second to table the Planning Commission appointment of Mr. Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Ms. Forsberg, do we have any correspondence?
We do. We have one email in support of the Humane Society, the West Columbia Gorge Humane Society, from Bob Brunice.
Okay, thank you. Council items, council comments? Any council members?
I do.
Yes, Jennifer.
Yes. This year, the Camas and Washougal High School students will be hosting Stuff the Bus. That's the fundraiser, unopened toys, non-perishable food, and cash, where the two high schools compete to stuff as many buses as they can, and then they take them over to where is it? Exterior Wood, pardon me. So, on December 10th, 2010, from noon to 6, support your local communities by joining the Stuff the Bus folks at Camas or Washougal High School for the 3rd annual Stuff the Bus and help families in need in the Camas-Washougal area. Donate unopened toys, non-perishable food, and cash during the Stuff the Bus event and help carry your town school to victory. So if you'll please make a note, in addition to the walk and knock, which usually takes place the very
Same day.
same time, please put aside some food for your high school students and drop it off at the high school that day. Thank you.
By the way, Washougal won last year.
Yes, we
Handily.
did.
Handily. It's nice that they decided to pick a different weekend to do that on this year. And if I remember back when our kids were trying to do those things, it wasn't a case of us setting aside anything extra. It was a case of us getting to the pantry first, so.
I know.
Any other council members? David?
I have some good news tonight. Even in the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, there are people who are confident enough to start a new business. And at 1826 East Street in Washougal here, we have a new business by the name of Healthier Choices for Healthier Living. It's in the same building with Heller's Restaurant. And I encourage everybody to drop by there and see what's in it for you. Good to see new businesses in Washougal.
Absolutely.
Secondly, I wanted to agree with Councilman Delavar on something that he said a couple of weeks ago, and that was about the requirement for sunset clauses. And I'd like to expand that a little bit. He was talking about a particular issue, but I think that sunset clauses belong in every single ordinance that we pass. The sunset clause puts a limit on the time that the ordinance is effective. And I think it's appropriate to do that. We need periodic review, and that gives us a chance to do it. Circumstances evolve, and we should too. And I'd like to respond to the gentleman that talked about why the council took the traffic circles out of the state queue there. And the answer is that the city and the port agree that the roundabout that was planned would be more of a hindrance to traffic than a solution. And I would also point out that decisions made by majority vote are not evidence of a dysfunctional council. On the contrary, getting 4 votes in favor of any decision on this council indicates a well-functioning council. It's not the easiest thing in the world. If you take a look at the record on our votes, you'll see that a great deal of decisions are made